Hello? Is anyone there? Ooh. Don't like that. Ugh. It's lagging. Fuck. What the fuck? Why am I? It's doing the. Can I? If I do like a reset? Hate that. Alright. See, what I don't like about this is that the cams are in sync, but my audio isn't. Is it just the preview? No? What's going on? Okay, we'll just troubleshoot this for like 2 seconds. You mean leave unchanged? Okay. Hello? Okay. Okay, yeah, sure. Alright, why not? Why not? Alright, I'm back. Do not let people. Dude, Homestuck will ruin your life, bro. No, none of this Homestuck business. You don't want Homestuck. You want Homestuck. Welcome back. It's a normal day. It's a normal stream day. What's on YouTube? What's the heat on YouTube? Anything? Academy versus Delver. I feel like Delver has a pretty good matchup against decks like that, or else people would just play it in Legacy. Standard Delver, maybe not. They have like Mana Link though. Huh. Well, George Santos returns from prison. Is this funny if I just click in the middle? That's hilarious. Matan, I like Matan's show. I think it's gotten better. Matan Evans, he's funny. He's a funny guy. Huh. Alright. I really shouldn't waste time. I saw it. Alright, I really shouldn't waste time. This is me moving my mouse up. I swear. Maybe if as it moves down. Okay. Well, that is what it is. We're on chapter 16. I think we're on section 4. Proof of life. Yeah. The next human nature. And the rest is still unwritten. Let's see. Let's see what we can glean from this. What is this? Oh, yeah. What is this? Oh, we should look at this one next. What's the last paragraph of this one say? References. We should do this one next. Yet let us not lose track of what is globally significant. Through the fog of everyday trivialities, we can perceive, if but dimly, the essential task of our age. In this book, we have attempted to discern a little more feature in what is... What? We have attempted to discern a little more feature in what is otherwise a relatively amorphous and negatively defined vision, one that presents as our principal moral priority, at least from an impersonal and secular perspective, the reduction of existential risk and the attainment of a civilized trajectory that leads to a compassionate and jubilant use of humanity's cosmic endowment. Oh, this is like a cool book. What's this one say? Scenarios in which the rival developers are not states, but smaller entities, such as corporate labs or academic teams, would probably feature much less direct destruction from conflict. Yet, the overall consequences of competition may be almost as bad. This is because the main part of the expected harm from competition stems not from the smash-up of battle, but from the downgrade of precaution. A race dynamic would, as we saw, reduce investment in safety, and conflict, even if non-violent, would tend to scotch opportunities for collaboration, since projects would be less likely to share ideas for solving the control problem in a climate of hostility and mistrust. What? Note that a large temporal discount factor could make a project behave in some ways as though it were in a race, even if it knows it has no real competitor. The large discount factor means it would care little. I feel like if I read this book on stream, it would advance the education of many undergrad students in a way that no one is expected. Anyways. Yeah, we'll check that one out. We should read this one. I feel like this is a good one. This seems like a good one. What's the table of context say? Oh. Wait, what's the last paragraph of this one? This one's awesome. Accept yourself unconditionally. Yes. We should read this one too. Love yourself. Oh my gosh. Respect yourself and demand respect from others. In most circumstances, people will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Confront someone if he is treating you poorly, and don't allow abusive behavior in your life. You can be your own best friend or worst enemy. Don't label or judge yourself, and don't inflict self-harm of any sort. You are too valuable to be scarred. Seek professional help and assistance from loved ones if you feel depressed, overly anxious, or hopeless. You can raise your self-esteem by valuing yourself, focusing on your strengths and achievements, keeping a gratitude list and journal. I keep saying this. Being creative, helping others, exercising, and increasing positive self-talk. Yeah, that's true. I do be doing this. Okay, last one before we dive in. The manga guide to physics. Hold up. Hold up. Comics are a little different. Does physics bother you? Yes. Pow, Shazam. Blap, Shazam. My god, bro. Stay in the game, Megumi. I gotta concentrate. Well then, what was your answer for question 9? Or several hours ago? I was reading right. How did you do on your physics test? We're comparing answers. Suppose you were hitting a ball with a tennis racket. Which is greater, the force of the ball pushing the racket or the force of the racket pushing the ball? Select the correct answer. I selected C. Why? Oh no, I picked A. Is it C? Ball pushing the racket is the same as the force of the racket pushing the ball? Not again. Not again. Oh. Bro, what? Oh god. What the fuck? Fuck my life, bro. I will check that one out later. I just wasn't there, you know? Yo, honest, on God? Wait, but were they doing it back in the day, though? Wait, but were they doing it back in the day, though? The use of spies. Of course. Okay, we're not gonna look at this one. It's a little... I don't know if the public's ready. The use of spies. Okay. I wonder if it says the same thing. Check and check again. Hence, it is only the enlightened ruler and the wise general who will use the highest intelligence of the army for purposes of spying, and thereby they... No comma. No comma. No comma. No comma. And thereby they achieve great results. Spies are a most important element in water. I told you, the public wasn't ready. The public isn't ready for that. We'll read The Art of War sometime. I'll come up with an activity. Okay, I know I said that was the last one, but what's this one? When did I download this? The Limits of Critique. What? When did I download this? Dude, I miss my source, bro. I miss my free book plug. Damn. Such an attempt, to be sure, can have only a partial success. Sorry, I just move on. To try out different vocabularies and experience with alternative ways of writing. To think in a more sustained and concentrated fashion about what other moods and methods might look like. The point in the end is not to redescribe or reinterpret critique, but to change it. You change. We're talking about this. Such an attempt, to be sure, can have only a partial success. To object or disagree with critique is to be caught in the jaws of performative contradiction. In the act of disagreeing with certain ways of thinking, we cannot help being drawn into the negative or oppositional attitude we are trying to avoid. For this reason, I wish to draw a firm line under these concluding words. Having clarified to the best of my ability the reasons for my dissatisfaction with critique, I want to move on. To try out different vocabularies and experiment with alternative ways of writing. To think in a more sustained and concentrated fashion about what other moods and methods might look like. The point in the end is not to redescribe or reinterpret critique, but to change it. Whoa. That's... It's crazy because that's everything I want. Okay, one more. All right. Wait, one more. One more. Okay. How about this one? Killing the black body. Race, reproduction, and the meaning of liberty. The meaning of liberty. Fucking love PDFs, dude. Degrading repression has been left out of the official story of reproductive rights in America, but it is their struggle that highlights the poverty of current notions of reproductive freedom. It is also their struggle that can lead to a more radical vision of reproductive justice. As I've tried to show throughout this book, a vision of liberty that respects the reproductive integrity of black women is a critical step toward a just society for everyone. I see the main effect of a social justice approach as promoting liberty rather than restricting it. My objective is not to deny wealthy people's options because others do not have them. Rather, my vision of liberty seeks to ensure that dispossessed and disempowered groups share the means to be self-determining and value members of society. For too long, black women's struggle against the most degrading repression has been left out of the official story of reproductive rights in America, but it is their struggle that highlights the poverty of current notions of reproductive freedom. It is also their struggle that can lead to a more radical vision, valued members of society, of reproductive justice. As I have tried to show throughout this book, a vision of liberty that respects the reproductive integrity of black women is a critical step toward a just society for everyone. Damn. Okay, maybe one more. I'm doing too much. I'm really doing too much. Okay, we'll do fiction this time. Hold on, we'll do Terry Pratchett. Look at them nips. It has notes? What the fuck? Terry Pratchett, what are you doing? The end. Maybe one or two. Said Angua. Alright, Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett, everyone. Let's hear it for all the authors that we just briefly glanced over. Ugh, there's so much good shit out there. Anyways. The next human nature. God damn! All right. These cravings may not These cravings may not be the sole motivations of Facebook's currently 2 billion users, but they aptly describe the attributes upon which Facebook's incentives are designed to bite the hardest. Climbing the mountain of the self-other balance is an adventure that we each must undertake. I'm bothered by something. There's something wrong. Bring it back. Any good person would ask you to read the whole thing again. I see the main effect of a social justice approach as promoting liberty rather than restricting it. My objective is not to deny wealthy people's options because others do not have them. Rather, my vision of liberty seeks to ensure that dispossessed and disempowered groups share the means to be self-determining and valued members of society. For too long, Black women's struggle against the most degrading repression has been left out of the official story of reproductive rights in America. But it is their struggle that highlights the poverty of current notions of reproductive freedom. It is also their struggle that can lead to a more radical vision of reproductive justice. As I have tried to show throughout this book, a vision of liberty that respects the reproductive integrity of Black women is a critical step toward a just society for everyone. Never be racist. Just never be racist. That's the point. That's the point of changing. Never be racist. It's for you. All right, moving on. Isn't that the last thing these people hear? It's for you. It should be the first thing these people hear. They know it. Section 4. The next human nature. Okay, wait. I was refreshing myself. Let's read the last few paragraphs. Just ate a strange flake off my cell phone. Tasted delicious. I'm just gonna read it. I know I had the writing thing out, but I have class tomorrow. I might take some notes, some like short notes, but this one is gonna be a little different. We're gonna go back to this section, maybe. Oh fuck, it's a short one. We're gonna go back to this section in maybe like, I don't know, a couple days. Tomorrow's like my freest day because I only have one class. But you know, I have plenty to keep me busy, so it is what it is. A growing body of evidence. Oh, fuck, dude. Okay. Facebook has Pentland's prized God view on its side, an unparalleled resource that is drawn upon to remake this naturally longed-for fusion into a space of no escape. Science and capital are united in this long-game project. Yesterday, it was the like button. Today, it is augmented reality, and tomorrow, there will be new innovations added to this repertoire. The company's growth in user engagement, surplus capture, and revenue are evidence that these innovations have hit their marks. Young people crave the hive, and Facebook gives it to them. But this time, it's owned and operated by surveillance capital and scientifically engineered into a continuous spiral of escalating fusion, amply fulfilling Schaeffer's 5 criteria for achieving an addictive state of compulsion. Potency is engineered according to a recipe dictated by the hidden attributes of those who crave valorization from the group to fill the void where a self must eventually stand. These cravings may not be the sole motivation of Facebook's currently 2 billion users, but they aptly describe the attributes upon which Facebook's incentives are designed to bite the hardest. Climbing the mountain of the self-other balance is an adventure that we must each undertake. A journey of risk, conflict, uncertainty, and electrifying discovery. But what happens when the forces of surveillance capital turn the mountains into a mountain range? Look at us. Yes, you are alive. Do not look away. Why would you? How could you? Today we might like you. The next human nature. Oh. Oh. My weights feel like nothing now. It's kind of nice. I will not be adding weight. I'm pretty satisfied with 35 pounds. Enough of that tangent. Was that a tangent? It's more like a distraction. Maybe a side story. Anyways. Well, enough of that side story. Enough of that sidebar. Enough of that sidebar. What is this? Oh. A growing body of evidence testifies to the psychic toll of life in the hive, where surveillance capital's behavioral engineering expertise collides with the centuries in the making human impulse towards self-construction. Researchers are already providing answers to two key questions. What are the psychological processes that dominate the hive? What are the individual and societal consequences of these processes? What is priority and what is to come? What must you be to suffer? Once again, just failing to manifest in a system where one is where action is defined in these negative terms. Wow. That's really depressing. These people must view themselves as some kind of bandits, scoundrels, objects, dolls. Really scares me who succeeds in school. Because, you know, Lord knows I show him I do it without the help. According to the 302 most significant quantitative research studies on the relationships between social media use and mental health, most of them produced since 2013, then how are Zoomers the first generation on the internet if that was like the year I graduated high school? What? The psychological process that the most defines the Facebook experience is what psychologists call social comparison. I learned about social comparison today. Learned about it in ethnic studies class. Wow. I know what that means on some level. That's so funny. Wow. It is usually considered a natural and virtually automatic process that operates outside of awareness, effectively forced upon the individual by his social environment. Just to say, you must be good to people. Being good to yourself means you learn to teach being good to others. They don't have to accept it now, but it never hurt to unplug the kids, give them worse games. You know what really like all this augmented survival nonsense is just so like, God, you ever wonder if like the fidelity of games is what keeps people away from real life now? Like, normies didn't give a shit about games until they started looking like GTA. What the fuck? Anyways. It is usually effectively forced upon the individual by his social environment, as we apply evaluative criteria tacitly internalized from our society, community, group, family, and friends. As one research review summarizes, almost at the moment of exposure, an initial holistic assessment of the similarity between the target and the self is made. Don't I know it? As we go through life being exposed to other people, we naturally compare ourselves. I have a tweet to write. The world. Alright. Anyways. As one research review summarizes, almost at the moment of exposure, an initial holistic assessment of the similarity between the target and the self is made. As we go through life being exposed to other people, we naturally compare ourselves along the lines of similarity and contrast. I am like you. I am different from you. Subliminal perceptions that translate into judgments. I am better than you. You are better than I am. You should be hurt. I should be saved. That's, try living with that family dynamic. Really fucked up shit happening out there. Researchers have come to appreciate the way in which these automatic human processes converge with the changing conditions of each historical era. For most of human history, people lived in small enclaves and were typically surrounded by others very much like themselves. That doesn't make sense. How can that doesn't that really just doesn't make a ton of sense. Social, like, how can you be like someone like yourself if you've clearly found that you needed to individuate? How can people be the same if they individuate on their own and genetic diversity has like always existed? How can this be? What does the statement mean? She's lost in another field once again. She's been defeated in another field. Social comparisons with little variation are unlikely to entail great psychological risk. What? Oh, but people aren't the same even if you view each other similarly. That's what am I missing here? Uh Fuck. Hold on. I need to see if I have something. I was looking for the hard copy of this because I got it for my dad for I got it for my dad for Christmas because low key I wanted to borrow it from him. It's that yellow book with all the balloons and the girl on her phone. Maybe that can. Is that it? Is this? No, I don't think so. Fuck, where is it? See. God damn. What do I do? I guess I just have to ask more questions. Maybe I'll hit up my professor during office hours and he can help me understand this. That might be what I do. Oh, look at that. This heat. God damn. No, that's alright. I have to see more of it. I mean, like, it looks good, but it's not like my favorite stuff from this book. I go back up. There's like some in the beginning that are just like, what is that? Bruh. What are they doing? Oh, I love this. Oh. What were they thinking? 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 This is tough. This is really tough. Yeah, I might just have to talk to my professor about this. Cause that's tough, man. There's so much happening there that I just like don't fucking understand and like I could stop to read another book or I could use my resources, you know? I could stop, I could read it, I could stop to read another book or I could use my resources and I think I'll use my resources. Yeah. Let's continue. It's really hard to imagine what this person's talking about right now. Like, it's really tough. typically surrounded by others very much like themselves. Social comparisons with little variation are unlikely to entail great psychological risk. That makes sense to me because one of the ways that people believe that they deserve these pseudo valorizations is through the autotropic process of like autotropic pleasures and vices, raising their dopamine levels in such a way that um creates historically unprecedented levels of dopamine withdrawals, which leads people into cultural narratives that were long reserved for people who faced like emotional abuse. Um, that's really the most I can say about it. Like, this is really hard to understand. um, yeah. Anyways, research suggests that the diffusion of television in the second half of the 20th century dramatically increased the intensity and negativity of social comparison, as it brought vivid evidence of varied and more affluent lifestyles dramatically different from one's own. One study found an increase in criminal larceny as television diffused across society. But that was also... She's a historian. She would know. What the fuck? Well, she's a historian of work. Of labor. This is like really close to her field. One study found an increase in criminal larceny as television diffused across society, awakening an awareness and desire for consumer goods. That's... I need McLuhan. I need McLuhan. I need McLuhan. I need McLuhan. What is that? I know where Marshall McLuhan is somewhat. Good morning. Can you zoom in? Good morning. Egg on a plate. What? 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 I don't feel anything but the death of innocence. Medium is the massage. I don't feel anything but the death of innocence. That's all I'm perceiving. That's all I'm perceiving. No. No. That's the suburban. That's the suburban. The rural could never. What the fuck happened? The fuck happened? They never talk about it. None of them. Ever. Pokemon ass world. Oh, here we go. It is forcing us to reconsider and reevaluate practically every thought. See, the problem is because I don't know, because I don't understand this from like a high level, and because there's no language to understand it like on a high level that belies any of the truth of the atrocities committed. Um, you're constantly forced to reevaluate yourself. It's like, you know, when like internet marketers, they like focus on like micro moments, right? You're like supposed to like tap your phone or whatever. Anytime I have to like reevaluate my comparison of life, that's like a way for me to like change my critique of life, you know. That is how I may become changed through what someone shows me. In and of that, I must believe in what I see. So it is the composition of these things that I am shown and the medium through which they are shown that begins to unlock the truth of how I may be changing. Everything is changing. You, your family, your neighborhood, your education, your job, your government, your relation to the others. Fuck, you're so good. I keep doing bits. I'm just full of bites. I'm just. What the fuck is going on? Every bit. I mean, it's every bit, really. It's really the most honest of these bits. Sometimes I think of it as like this spinning wheel of hot iron, and I get this close to it so I know the different regions, you know, and it's like if I do this and I push my hand in, I lose that much more control over my life. And the game is to get as close as you can without losing any or very much skin. I mean, I'm minor leagues, right? I'm I'm here this much, right? I've lost a lot of the feeling. Most people are here, I think, where they just don't play. In which you're the audience. Ask a Ninja told me. You're you're not a bad audition at American Idol. You didn't even try. There's no name for you. There's accolade in a bad audition. because no one else tried. Just do it. Ask a Ninja told me. What do you call the people who don't try out for American Idol? Nothing. Ask a Ninja told me. Your relation to the others, and they're changing dramatically. Just on the surface, you see it on the surface. This is why they teach this to media students, because it's like, you're in the business of keeping them coming back without showing them jack. Back for more. Need a man, y'all. How we make beats catch. Like like EPMD, tapping energy from on and off the map. Tacky on. Society. There we go. Societies have always been shaped more by the nature of the media by which men communicate than by the content of the communication. The alphabet, for instance, is a technology that is absorbed by the very young child in a completely unconscious manner, by osmosis, so to speak. Words and the meaning of words predispose the child to think and act automatically in certain ways. The alphabet and print technology fostered and encouraged a fragmenting process, a process of specialism and of detachment. I just thinking about this. Electric technology fosters and encourages unification and involvement. It is impossible to understand social and cultural changes without a knowledge of the workings of media. Media, anything that extends the body. Our age of anxiety is in great part the result of trying to do today's job with yesterday's tools, with yesterday's concepts. Don't I know it? And who else can say that? I'm being a bitch. Anyways, the older training of observation has become quite irrelevant in this new time. Because it is based on psychological responses and concepts conditioned by the former technology, mechanization. You learn less as the tools do more. I guess in Marshall McLuhan's time, today would seem pretty nice with how much time we spend speaking about division in society. In any terms, this shit ain't hunky-dory, and it's certainly not, well, it's pretty gassy. It is, if you've seen Disney Channel movies recently, you know it's pretty gassy. But it's, you know, like, better. It's better. Innumerable confusions and a profound feeling of despair invariably emerge in periods of great technological and cultural transitions. Our age of anxiety is in part the result of trying to do today's job with yesterday's tool with yesterday's concepts. 30 million toy trucks were bought in the US in 1966. Here's a picture of a ring. I hate this. Youth instinctively understands the present environment, the electric drama. It lives mythically and in depth. Because once you can scale up fascism, you no longer need an authoritarian movement to provide it. Like, our authoritarian movement has trouble consuming the fascist movement once a nomic crisis can be perpetuated at scale. And the granularity, like the areas of control where social media technology continues to increase its granularity is with its ability to provide potent and specialized messaging. So these nomic crises do ignite the fascist soul at the heart of this media movement. And it's been around for a long time. AI's been thought of for a long time. This is a long time coming. And a lot of the guys who came up with it are fucking dead. So this is like the second generation, merged with every subsequent generation, right? But the people closest to it historically are the second generation of scholars, and they're in like their fucking 70s. So yeah, that's if you ever needed someone who knew it was like a source of truth, it could be that guy. And then the consequence of that line of thought is I'm the source of truth now. Which is why the younger generation seems to have this this world curated for them, where we get Donald Trumps and Bidens in the White House for all these young aides to fuck with. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Youth instinctively, I get distracted because it's like, it just seems like a lot of this stuff applies to a lot of everything else. Youth instinctively understands the present environment, the electric drama. It lives mythically and in depth. This is because you're fucking stupid if you don't do it. This is the reason for the. I was gonna do like a Family Guy thing, but it turned southern. This is the reason for the great alienation between generations. Wars, revolutions, civil uprisings are interfaces within the new environments created by electric informational media. In the study of ideas, it is necessary to remember the insistence on hard. Oh, that's why all these cryptography, like ARG people who make themselves very hard to find but very fun to talk to, they're like obsessed with like Morse code. The NSA is the one who does like the cryptography and like the code breaking stuff, but like the Morse code thing, that little trend has maybe more ties into this, but that's to say that these people are different groups, that there aren't like lineages of would you call it a lineage? I mean, it's like as if there aren't like brotherhoods and secret orders like built upon these things, and as if there aren't exceptions to what they're able to contend. It's a nuanced history. But it is to remain on the side of being absolute. It heirs to history. It heirs to God, to the idea of God. Anyways. What is that? Oh, I could give a shit. All right. In the study of ideas, it is necessary to remember that insistence on hard-headed clarity issues from sentimental feelings, as it were a mist, cloaking the perplexities of fact. Insistence on clarity at all costs is based on sheer superstitions as to the mode in which human intelligence functions. Our reasonings grasp at straws for premises and float on the gossamers for deductions. Huh. Oh, man. It's fascinating. Well, there's some more insight. Bloodborne? Anyways. Back to Canehurst Castle. Let's go! Where am I? Related issue is that one study found an increase in criminal larceny as television diffused across society, awakening an awareness of and desire for consumer goods. A related issue was that increased exposure to television programs depicting affluence led to the overstimulation of others' wealth and more dissatisfaction with one's own life. The ads were that fucked up. Social media, maybe that's why Don Draper kills himself. That would make a lot of sense, but I haven't seen the whole show. Social media marks a new era in the intensity, density, and pervasiveness of social comparison processes, especially for the youngest among us, who are almost constantly online at a time of life when one's own identity, voice, and moral agency are a work in progress. Children can't talk to people online. They can't use AI. They can't use the internet. They can use the computer more when they're older. In fact, the psychological tsunami of social comparison triggered by the social media experience is considered unprecedented. Second use of the word unprecedented. If television created more life dissatisfaction, what happens in the infinite spaces of social media? Both television and social media deprive us of real life encounters in which we sense the other's inwardness and share something of our own, thus establishing some threads of communality. Unlike television, however, social media entails active self-presentation characterized by profile inflation, in which biographical information, photos, and updates are crafted to appear ever more marvelous in anticipation of the stakes for popularity, self-worth, and happiness. Profile inflation triggers more negative self-evaluation among individuals as people compare themselves to others, which then leads to more profile inflation, especially among larger networks that include more distant friends. As one study concluded, expanding one's social network by adding a number of distant friends through Facebook may be detrimental by stimulating negative emotions for users. How many times are we going to go back to Google Images? I wonder how Lady Tsunade is doing these days. Really makes you think. Google profile. If I Google profile inflation, what happens? What happens when I Google profile inflation? Do you guys think a great enough body of work on surveillance capitalism exists for me to not regret this? What do you think? I think we just do it. I think we just get into it and just do the thing. We're gonna Google profile inflation. Personal inflation rate refers to the rate at which the cost of goods and services you personally consume increases over time. Oh, it's all economic inflation. Okay, that's like a different type of weird thing. Not what I searched for, but okay. Fuck, that thing's so sexy. Fuck, that thing's so sexy. I do this. Oh, I do this. Oh, so good. Alright, anyways. One consequence of the new density of social comparison triggers and their negative feedback loops is a psychological condition known as FOMO. That overpowered bullshit? Please fire these people, Hasbro. One consequence of the new density of social comparison triggers and their negative feedback loops is a psychological condition known as FOMO, fear of missing out. It is a form of social anxiety defined as the uneasy and sometimes all-consuming feeling that your peers are doing, in the know about, or in possession of more or something better than you. Someone used that to harass me. It was like this millionaire from a couple cities over. Really fucking annoying. It's a young person's affliction that is associated with negative mood and low levels of life satisfaction. There are a lot of negative consequences to that. Research has identified FOMO with compulsive Facebook use. FOMO sufferers obsessively check their Facebook feeds during meals, while driving, immediately upon waking or before sleeping, and so on. Oh, so it's like this FOMO is like analogous to this questioning of oneself that Marshall McLuhan mentions. Very interesting. This compulsive behavior is intended to produce relief in the form of social reassurance, but it predictably breeds more anxiety and more searching. Intended. Who gives a fuck? They're neoliberals, so they fucking lie. Who gives a fuck? No, just no. Fuck you, bitch. Election interference. Election interference. Election interference. Here we go. It's really close. I think election interference is probably the right category for this. Here we go. Thank you. Please describe the type of report. Man, you're really... man, men like fucking thing, man. Let me see. What? Okay. Oh my god. Oh, here we go. It's like right at the top. Cool. It has to be the United States. Oh my fucking god, bro. It's not reportable. Fuck. I'm just gonna post it again. We're gonna do this shit. Oh, we'll be nice. Be really nice. Okay. Did I make my post? What are my posts? What are my posts? Okay. What? No, it's definitely in there. The fuck? Okay, how about this one? Anyways. Blah blah blah. Alright, social comparison can make people do things that they might not otherwise do. Facebook's experiments and Pokemon Go's augmented reality each exploit mutually mutual visibility and its inevitable release of social comparison processes for successful tuning and herding. They make nerds feel good for nothing. Both of these, sorry, I shouldn't say that. They make nerds feel good so that they end up committing systemic injustice against minorities. Both of these illustrate the ways in which once natural psychological processes are repurposed to heighten the effectiveness of Pentland's vaunted social pressure, thus enabling behavior modification at scale. Social pressure is activated by "I want to be like you" as the risk of indifference and exclusion threaten negative social comparison. Oh. But everyone hates that. Right? Am I really just on the other side of this? Am I really like, do I only exist on the other side of this? Your purpose is to cut the border. Your purpose is to cut the border. Your purpose is to cut the border. What the fuck? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I have a mirror in my hat. I have a mirror in my hat. God damn. I kind of like it. Is it bad that I like this? It says rare. Low key? I kind of want this. Is that bad? That I just want that, like, right there? Bro, why do people like me love, like, the worst, like, chiaroscuro, like, oddball, like, gamer commodity, like, decorative, like, painting nonsense like this? Like, I feel better knowing that there are people out there like me who forgo taste for vibes. You know what I mean? Like in this moment here, I've actually stripped away the instrumentality of this art world that seeks to capture the human body, and I've given it life by exalting this billiards image. I don't play billiards. He's just so swaggy. Like, but he is just so swaggy in the image. It doesn't translate to reality. In a way, it's like a sign. It's a sign that I can appreciate something more complex than I can describe. I want it. I want it. And if someone ever offered it to me, I'd take it. But that's just how life is. I can't have everything I want. One time in the 6th grade, we had to read Charlotte's Web. My teacher, Mrs. Sullivan, was reading in class the part where the Templeton, the rat, goes to the fair and basically eats everything in sight and becomes morbidly obese, and some kid in class gets Really, Peter's Templeton or something, and he was wearing the kind of braces they used to have with big ugly rubber band. One of the snap literally flew at Sellercott and hit Mrs. Sullivan in the face. She screamed because she thought a bee stung her, and everyone laughed. And then late in gym class, some kid got sent to the principal's office for pulling down his pants. Once when I was in second grade, I had a purple Barney stuffed animal, and one day after school, I was playing with it outside, and my mom called me in for dinner, and I accidentally forgot about it in the driveway. And then my dad came home after work in his huge truck and literally ran it over as if it wasn't bad enough. That what he didn't realize was that he actually parked on Barney. So when I tried pulling his lifeless body out from under the truck tire, I just ended up ripping his head off. And you wonder why I'm emotionally unstable. I swear all my songs are about me ripping Barney's head off. Dude, what the fuck is this? Can we just most people don't know this ending interviews. I pretend I'm a pancake. One time in 7th grade, I had foods class. I made them make this nasty organic pasta, and you know the trick where you throw a spaghetti noodle against the fridge, and if it sticks, you know it's done or whatever? Well, that part was my job, and I was basically so annoyed and angry at being a 7th grader that I forgot what life was for a second without thinking. I grabbed the spaghetti and threw the entire contents of the bowl against the fridge, and everyone in class screamed, and the teacher had a brain aneurysm, and everyone was mad at me, and then I got into big trouble, and what everyone failed to realize was that the spaghetti totally stuck to the fridge, which means I was basically a master gourmet 7th grader chef. Clearly my spaghetti was cooked to perfection, so I should have gotten an A plus and extra credit instead of getting an F and sent to the principal office for disobeying kitchen safety and throwing spaghetti at a fridge. But hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember much else about 7th grade foods class except for one time some kid ate a stick of butter and got diarrhea. Oh my god. Autism is here to stay. That's all I gotta say. Alright, anyways. Alright, where is it? What do we know about the mental health consequences of social comparison as it ensnares Facebook users, especially the young? Most of the research aimed at a deeper grasp of cause and effect in the user. Oh yeah, I forgot to tweet that one. Wait, hold up. Sometimes that's all you are. Bitch. Alright. Sorry, what was I doing? Most of the research aimed at a deeper grasp of cause and effect in the user experience has been conducted with college-age participants. And even a brief review of a few key studies tells a grim tale, as adolescents and emerging adults run naked through these digitally mediated social territories in search of proof of life. That's true. I deleted every single one, okay, motherfucker, you can't hold me to that. A 2011 study found the social media users exposed to pictures of beautiful users developed a more negative self-image than those who were shown less attractive profile pictures. Men who were shown profiles of high career status men judged their own pursuits as inadequate compared to others who saw profiles of less successful men. By 2013, researchers found that Facebook use could predict negative shifts in both how their young subjects felt moment to moment, as well as their overall life satisfaction. That year, German researchers found that the astounding wealth of social information presented on Facebook produces a basis for social comparison and envy on an unprecedented scale. Huge fascism. That fascism. It's fascism. Their work demonstrated that passive following on Facebook exacerbates feelings of envy and decreases life satisfaction. More than 20% of all recent experiences of envy reported by students in the research study had been triggered by Facebook exposure. Nah, they just want to have fun. No. It's the instrumentality, though. How can you have fun without a game? How can you say the word fun without trying to say that you're playing? No one has fun without instrumentality. It doesn't make sense to us. Every joke that doesn't land, every boring YouTube video, all of it. Outside of the instrumentalized journey, lose fun. That's just a fact. A three-phase investigation in 2014 found that spending a lot of time browsing profiles on Facebook produced a negative mood immediately afterward. Then, upon reflection, those users felt worse, reckoning that they had wasted their time. Instead of... that's a fucking meme, but okay. Instead of Redditors. Redditors! Fucking meme, dude. Instead of walking away, they typically chose to spend even more time browsing the network in hope of feeling better, chasing the dream and magical reversal of fortune that would justify past suffering. It's not a nomic crisis, right? Because the very definition of a nomic crisis is that one's language is the thing that people believe is like interconnected, but a myth told in tokenized images does not constitute a form of fascism that has been academically understood, because it is unprecedented to transport images in this personalized way. So all these lookism Nazi women that are running around are just getting away with it because of liberal policies and a neoliberal point of view on the actions happening on the internet today. And the FCC should be empowered to take these people out. To disconnect them, to re-educate them, etc. And to determine the nefariousness of these products. The cycle not only leads to more social comparison and more envy, but it can also predict depressive symptoms. That's the dopamine. The depression went away when I stopped playing so many video games. It comes back when I play something like Hearthstone that's emotionally tied into this like reward system. Some of my most bohemian moments happened on Hearthstone while I was playing Hearthstone or while I was hanging out with people that I played Hearthstone with. So it was like, yeah, like it just, I fucking miss them. I miss them, and I crave it. I crave their presence when I feel it gone. And I'm this close to someone. I still talk to people from that time, and it's like I could hurt someone. I could really hurt someone who was in a relationship with someone who I'm so emotionally tied up in. one of like my closest, like most like one of my closest friends at the time. Like that's the nature of this apparatus is you are surrounded by assassins. The spy gets digitized. The spy becomes an assassin. You are surrounded by assassins. I could just ruin this person's day by bringing this person up, but I don't. No matter how badly I want the cycle, no matter how badly I want to fulfill the instrumentality of going into that person's life and singing our beautiful songs, the cray ultra contrarian, as Stefan Burnett would say, I can't. You know, I'm like, I'm like Hermes, but I can't. But everyone's better off for it. That takes strength to say. The self-objectification associated with social comparison is also associated with other psychological dangers. First, we present ourselves as data objects for inspection, and then we experience ourselves as the it that others see. One 2014 study demonstrates the deleterious effects of these loops on body consciousness. An analysis of young men and women who had used Facebook for at least 6 years concluded that regardless of gender, more Facebook participation leads to more body surveillance. A sense of self-worth comes to depend on physical appearance and being perceived as a sex object. Body shame leads to constant rounds of manicuring self-portrayals for a largely unknown audience of followers. They know. They know. I'm one of these people. They know. They know what happens. I'm one of these people. That's crazy. I mean, who hasn't, right? But like, if it's not emo, it ain't nothing, alright? Like, yeah. It's just like that. I've just been around for like so fucking long. I miss 4chan sometimes. Just the people. It's not. It's a new thing. It's like a fucking new thing, dude. You would have been the fucking anchor man on network, bruh. America's first gamer senator? It's more likely than you think. Swear to God. You better like me. I don't care. They better like me. Alright. Life in the hive favors those who naturally orient toward external cues rather than toward one's own thoughts, feelings, values, and sense of personal identity. When considered from the vantage point of the self-other balance, positive social comparisons are just as pernicious as negative comparisons. Both are substitutes for the hard bargain of carving out a self that is capable of reciprocity rather than fusion. Rather than needle moves up or down, social comparison is the flywheel that powers the closed loop between the inclination toward the social mirror and its reinforcement. People do believe, they really do believe that there is something to be gained, that it's like a give and take relationship when all they do is take. Both ego gratification and ego injury drive the chase for more external cues. Over time, studies increase in complexity as they try to identify the underlying mechanisms through which social comparison and social media is associated with symptoms of depression, feelings of social isolation. One notable 3-year study published in 2017 considered both the direct Facebook data of more than 5,000 participants as well as self-reported data on their real-world social networks. This approach enabled ongoing direct comparisons between real-world relationships and Facebook associations across 4 domains of self-reported well-being: physical health, mental health, life satisfaction, and body mass index. What? Fat people? Fat people liking others' contacts and clicking links to posts by friends, the researchers summarized, were consistently related to compromised well-being, whereas the number of status updates was related. Fat people don't post? So diminished mental health. So strong was this relationship that a one standard deviation. Fat people use different websites. One standard deviation increased. Fat people use different websites. They said in 2017 that fat people use different websites. What the fuck? Decrease of 5 to 8 of a standard. I've been fat my whole life, dude. I got bullied for being fat as a kid. I'm gonna be fat for a long time, dude. Even controlling for a person's initial state of well-being. So many of my fucking friends were anorexic. What the fuck? The researcher's definitive conclusion: Facebook use does not promote well-being. Individual social media users do well to curtail their use of social media and focus instead on real-world relationships, which they can't. It's a double bind. You're fucked if you go this way, and you're fucked if you go that way. Way to fucking drive the knife in, you fucking dagger. What the fuck? That's some fuck shit. Alright, well, I'd love that. We're gonna talk more about this tomorrow. But for now, I'm signing off. Good night, everyone.